尊敬的各位领导，
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
我是本次会议的主持人肖伟。
I'm Xiao Wei, the moderator of this conference. On behalf of the organizer, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you here. Thank you for coming.
日月同期不言习，春雨
How time flies. We are gathering in the best season of the year.
到复兴路。习近平总书记在全国教育大会上要求。
In the National Education Conference, President Xi reiterated that we need to deep-root our education in China. In Anji, we believe games will enlighten children's lives, and we believe the best asset is our beautiful environment. That is why we are gathering at Anji County, Huzhou City of Zhejiang Province. We are about to change. We embrace change. The Anji educational model has become the flagship of China's preschool education reform. In 2018,
设立103个安吉游戏实验园。
103 Anji Games experimental kindergartens were established in Zhejiang Province. Other provinces like Yunnan, Guangzhou, Hong Kong, and Macau also introduced Anji Games. Anji Games were also introduced worldwide. Anji Games were widely promoted in Europe, America, and many other Belt and Road countries. UNESCO has listed Anji Games as an important effort to improve preschool education quality. Today we are gathering here to have the first International True Play Conference. We will together enact reform in preschool education. We will share the achievements of educational reform and share the best practices of Anji Games. Let's work together to create a brighter future for Anji Games. Now please allow me to introduce the distinguished guests present in this conference. Madam Jiang Jing from the Primary School Education Department of National Ministry of Education. Hong Kong SAR Deputy Minister of Education Liu Jianfeng.
中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区联络办公室教育科技
Hong Kong SAR
于斌，
Central Government Liaison Officer Li Yubin.
浙江省教育厅副厅长韩平，
Han Ping, Deputy Director of Zhejiang Department of Education.
浙江省教育国际交流协会会长
Zhejiang
蒋胜
Educational International Exchange Association Chair Jiang Shengxiang.
浙江大学教授
Zhejiang University Professor, PhD Supervisor, Deputy Director of Zhejiang Department of Education Li Lu.
浙江省教育厅国际合作与交流处处长王振斌，
Wang Zhenbin, Director of International Exchange, Zhejiang Education Department.
教育厅基础教育处处长方洪峰，
Fang Hongfeng, Director of Primary Education,
浙江省教育厅教研室主任任学宝，
Ren Xuebao, Director of Education and Pedagogista, Zhejiang Education Department, Jing Zhanlan, Deputy Party Secretary of Zhejiang Department of Education,
局长潘英，
Pan Ying, Director of Education Bureau of Huzhou City,
福州市教育局高等教育
Huzhou
办教育
Bureau of Education, Advanced Education, Higher Education, and Private Education, Hu Jun,
府县长陈永华，
Governor of Anji, Chen Yonghua,
中共安吉县委副书记赵德清，
Anji Party Secretary, Deputy Party Secretary Zhao Deqing,
安吉县人大常委会副主任王爱民，
Wang Aiming, Deputy Director of People's Standing Committee of Anji City,
副县长任桂明，
任桂明 Deputy Governor of Anji County.
安吉县人民政府
Anji
副县
County
长杨建新，
Deputy Governor 杨建新。
安吉县政协副主席吴水龙，
Deputy Chair of CPPCC of Anji County 吴水龙。
安吉县教育局局长施明清，
Director of Education Anji County 施明清。
还有来自国内外的学前教育专家。
Also attending are experts and scholars of preschool education from home and abroad. Welcome.
首先，让我们用热烈的掌声
Let's put our hands together to warmly welcome Governor of Anji Chen Yonghua
有请
to introduce the County of Anji to us. Distinguished guests, leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In the spring season of May, flowers are blossoming. Anji is most beautiful in the whole year. Today we welcome guests from home and abroad to attend the first International True Play Conference. This is an important conference for education elites from home and abroad. It's a platform for the most advanced thoughts about education collide and exchange. On behalf of the Anji government, I warmly welcome your presence. I would also like to extend our sincere thanks to all of you who have always supported the educational course of Anji. Anji is located at the northern western part of Zhejiang province. We have about 600,000 permanent population. We have one state-level tourism resort and also a high-level economic and development demonstration area. We are improving our infrastructure. We are within half an hour's drive from Hangzhou City, within 2 hours' drive from Nanjing and Hefei. Anji has a long history. We were established in 1815. This is a place where multicultural came together. This is also the hometown of Wu Changshuo and Chen Rong, great masters in China's culture. We have great cultures of tea, white tea, trees, ethnic minorities, which is also named China's first bamboo hometown. Last year, the county's GDP exceeded 40 billion RMB. Our financial revenue grew by about 19%. The local financial revenue up by 18%. In 2018, Anji was listed as 100 greenest counties in China and one of the 100 strongest counties in China. We have 7 mountains, 1 river, and beautiful farmlands. We are also blessed with endless bamboo seas. We have 75% of plantation and 71% of forest coverage. We are China's first batch of county-level forest cities. We are the only county awarded the UN Human Habitat Award. We have many recreational and tourism resources. We have become an important tourism and family destinations in Zhejiang province. Our tourism revenue recorded 32 billion RMB, up by 15% year-on-year. We have become China's first batch of recreational tourism demonstration county. We are carrying out a great mission. In 2015, President Xi Jinping, who used to be the former governor of Zhejiang province, came to Anji, he reiterated that our greatest asset is our environment. President Xi has paid every attention to Anji's development. Our idea is to build a green city, a green county, always embark on the sustainable development path. We have explored an ecological tourism path. This is a sustainable way into the future. Disposable income reached 52,000 RMB, up by 9%. The city has also achieved balanced economic development in terms of disposable income. Anji is the origin of beautiful rural countryside development campaign in China. Our goal is to build the most beautiful, picturesque rural countryside in China. We have become the demonstration area for Garden City in Zhejiang Province. We also convened the meeting on improving human habitat. By the end of 2018, the Beautiful Countryside Building campaign has covered whole Anji County. We have built 164 beautiful villages and also 44 demonstration villages. The local people are very rich. When President Xi paid the visit to Anji, he expressed great hopes for white tea from Anji. He said white tea will make local people rich. The white tea industry has become a very important specialty industry for the local people. Last year, 20 party members contributed 1,500 white tea tree seeds to help more than 300 counties to get rid of poverty. President Xi said that those who became rich first should help more people become rich. White tea is valued at about 4.1 billion RMB in value. Bamboo industry is also very strong in Anji. Anji is the hometown of bamboo production in China. Bamboo production has made great improvement. With 1.8% of national plantation, we create a huge contribution to the national bamboo industry. We also create great furniture. Thanks to more than 3 decades of development, Anji chairs accounted for 1/3 of the domestic market and half of the export chairs market. We have achieved nearly 40 billion RMB of export revenue. We are deep-rooted in sustainable and green development. We believe education is always important. We must create education that satisfies our people. We should constantly advance modernization of our educational course. We have been awarded the title of Compulsory Education Demonstration County. Anji Games are deep-rooted in China's traditional culture. We believe games will enlighten children's lives. Games is the mainstay of children's life and work. We have addressed the balance between education and the social provision of resources. We have received widespread attention from experts from home and abroad. And Anji Games have been widely reported by mainstream media and also media from United States and Europe. Many experts worldwide have visited Anji distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Mao Xingzhi, great educator of China, say that the essence of learning science is to play with science. And children learn from play, and in play they learn about science. Play is an irreplaceable part of children's lives. Anji Games is still on the path of quest. That is why we hold the first True Play International Conference in Anji so as to deepen our mutual communication. Here we have all the preschool educators and experts, so we will enhance our knowledge and skill sets of preschool education. We are convinced that this conference will make a new contribution to the core values of Anji as an educational brand. So please contribute to the educational development of Anji. Please visit our city more and share the fruits of our sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen Yonghua, for your fantastic introduction. Now let's welcome Ms. Jin Jianglian, the Secretary of the Huzhou City Municipal Government. Distinguished leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In such a dynamic and hopeful early summer, we are very happy to get together in the beautiful city of Anji, and we are very happy to welcome all of the guests participating in the first International Anji Play Conference. On behalf of Huzhou Municipal Government, I would like to extend our warm welcome to all of you. Huzhou City is located in the northern Zhejiang province on the southern coast of Taihu Lake. Huzhou is also a very important place where the important statement of President Xi got into place. The life here has been improved continuously, and last year the total city revenue reached 271 billion RMB, ranked number 2 in the whole province, and the disposable income is 50,000 and 50,000 for the urban areas and 30,000 for the rural areas, ranking number 3 in the province. The total financial revenue has reached 49 billion RMB, 20% growth, ranked number 1 in the Zhejiang province. The transportation is more and more convenient, and the ecological environment is getting better and better. Huzhou now has already become a very popular destination for investment and tourism in the Yangtze River Delta. Education is the most important thing for a country and for the people. Huzhou has paying attention to the education. So Huzhou is famous for its education history and tradition. Hu Yuan, the very famous educator in the North Song dynasty, already created the school of Hu Yuan education. We have achieved a lot of new progresses in recent years. With the compulsory education as the foundation, we now have vocational education and higher education, as well as specialized education. And the education system in both the rural and the urban areas are developed very in a balanced way. And we have 440,000 students in school. In the kindergarten, we have 90,000 children in the kindergartens. In the past several decades, Anji Play has been created. The spirit of Anji Play is to utilize play to light up the life of our children. It has been recognized by our provincial government. All over our Huzhou city, in all our kindergartens, we have started to practice Anji Play in our kindergartens in Huzhou. Today, we get together here in the county of Anji to communicate with each other. In such a platform based on the achievements in early childhood research, this event for sure will have very positive and long-term influence on the development of early child education. Taking this event as a starting point, we for sure will enrich the essence of Anji Play, and we will try to accumulate more practical experiences. Finally, I would like to wish this event a complete success. I wish all the leaders and the guests very healthy and happy life. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jin Qianglan, for your wonderful speech. Now let's give the floor to Han Ping, Deputy Director of Zhejiang Education Department. Let's welcome. Distinguished leaders, experts, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As we are gathering in the beautiful season of May, when flowers are blossoming, and after a whole year of preparation, now we are here convening the grand first International True Play Conference in Anji on behalf of the Zhejiang Education Department and Zhejiang International Education Exchange Society. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all the delegates present here. And thank you for your strong and consistent support of our educational course. Thank you. Zhejiang is located at the southeastern coastal line of China. We have rich tourism and cultural resources. We have about 260,000 square kilometers of sea area. We have about 56 million population. The average income of the province is one of the highest across the nation. Zhejiang is also one of the genesis of ancient Chinese civilization. Hangzhou is named the heaven on earth, and the Great Canal and Hangzhou West Lake have all been listed as UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. Hangzhou is also the host city of the G20 conference. Zhejiang provincial government attached great importance to education. We are always ready for educational reform. We championed equity in education. We now have primary education, vocational education, higher education, and continuing education. Our technical education and vocational education are one of the most advanced across the nation. In recent years, we also conducted fruitful international exchanges in education. We are always opening up to the outside world in education. Our international students come from 175 countries, reaching about 37,000. In primary school, we have about 6,000 international students. We have more than 3,000 international teachers working in our schools. And we receive about more than 17,000 Zhejiang students studying abroad as exchange students. Primary and middle school students are also studying abroad as exchange students. We have established about 206,000 sister school relationships. We also established Sino-foreign joint schools. 156 Sino-foreign joint schools. 16 universities have opened 28 Confucius Institutes across the world. Anji Play is an important icon of our education. 134 countries have paid close attention to Anji Games. Experts, officials from 140 countries have visited Anji Games, learned about our educational concept, and they observed how Anji Play was unfolded. And today we are here for the True Play Conference, discussing the best model for preschool education. I believe this conference will generate great wisdom, great insights, and I'm sure it will help you in policy making and your educational practices. I wish this conference a complete success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Han Ping, for your speech. Now, let's welcome the next speaker. The Deputy Director, Ms. Zhang Ji, Vice Director, Department of Basic Education, Ministry of Education of the People's Republic of China. Let's welcome. Distinguished leaders, experts, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very honored to come to Anji to participate in this conference on Anji Play. Firstly, on behalf of the Department of Basic Education, I would like to welcome all of the childhood early education experts. Welcome all of you to come to the birthplace of Anji Play. Welcome all of you to come to the beautiful hometown of Beimu. And I welcome all of you to come here to communicate about the research of early childhood education and explore the dream of True Play. I believe that this event brings together all the experts and the colleagues of early childhood education from both China and overseas. Welcome all of you. The Chinese government has been paying attention to the development of preschool education. In the National Plan of Education sets out the objective that we want to implement and achieve 100% of compulsory education of 9 years by 2020. This is a very important decision. To achieve this objective, the government has launched several policies to facilitate the preschool education, setting out the design and framework for the development of early childhood education. The State Council also issued several documents for guidelines and stating the direction for the development of kindergarten development as well as the development of a teachers' team. Several important policies have been implemented. In November last year, the State Council also issued the document on several guidelines regarding the revolution and the development of the preschool education. In this document, it sets out that by 2020, we want to achieve 80% of the coverage of children in terms of kindergarten education. And we also want to expand the early childhood teaching resources as well as teachers' team. Several important measures have been put into place. Since 2011, the Chinese government has implemented 3 consecutive action plans for preschool education, as well as 8 significant early childhood education projects. In the past 9 years, 132 billion RMB has been invested to build up kindergartens in those rural areas. With the efforts of governments at different levels, the preschool education has developed very quickly and progress has been unprecedented. By 2018, in China, now we have 260,000 kindergartens all over China. And the average coverage rate of the children of preschool age has reached 80%. And then around 110,000 kindergartens has been added. And the number of children entering the kindergarten has been increased by 60%. So the issues the public feel that it's so difficult to get into the kindergarten has already been resolved to some extent. We have been sticking to the principle of promoting both quality and also the quantity. We also have implemented the guidelines regarding the teaching and education of preschool children, as well as the guidelines for teachers' recruitment in the kindergarten. The government also tried to regulate and supervise the practices of kindergarten in a more practical and reasonable manner. We have been promoting the revolution and reform in the kindergarten very actively so that the quality of early childhood education can be improved significantly. Anji is a pioneer in the universal coverage of preschool education. At the beginning of the century, the Anji County government caught the opportunity offered by the development of economy and society in the local areas. The Anji County government took the early childhood education as a priority in their government work. In 5 years, they built up a central kindergarten in each key areas in their county, and also they also developed a teaching site in those big villages. They have established a 3 tiers early childhood education system in the county so as to guarantee that every child can receive preschool education in the neighborhood. Anji County government has been implementing the essence of the national education guidance, and the spirit of Anji Play is to returning the rights of play to the children. They have been deeply rooted in the local community, and they also stick to the statement proposed by the President Xi, that is the beautiful environment is the most important thing. They observe the children and they try to interpret the value offered by such play. They changed their mindset among the teaching team, and the teachers now are more capable of observing children and reflecting on children's play. Their practices in the past decade also triggers and facilitated the passion of the teachers. Anji Play has created a development pathway with Chinese characteristics, and this become a very important business card of China in early childhood education when we move to the international community. This is also an in-depth revolution which triggers the reflections and the rethinkings of those principles of the kindergartens as well as the government officials in the education department. Many local governments referred to Anji Play's experience and initiated related projects. They tried to provide more support to the research and explorations of the kindergarten teachers at the local level. Anji Play has brought wide impact on the early childhood education in China, and they can be regarded as a milestone in our history. China has a large population. Although in the past years we have achieved very significant progresses in early childhood education, however, we are aware that we are still faced with a lot of difficulties and challenges in this sector. For example, the speed and the scale is still not sufficient to meet the demands of our parents and of our population. The development in the rural and urban areas are not balanced, and the quality as well as the capacity of our teachers are not sufficient. And especially if we want all the counties all over China in the rural areas to have the same level of early childhood education as Anji County did, probably we will need to make more efforts. We will need to accelerate the coverage process, and we will also try to improve the quality of all the preschool education system in all counties. We hope to establish some excellent and talented teams in each local area like Anji did. In our next step, we will try to get better understanding of the spirit of Anji Play and enable Anji to play a more significant role in serving as models for other local areas. Dear colleagues, in China we have a saying, when you look at a child of 3 years, you will know how this child will turn out when he or she grows up. So the early childhood education is a very important stage for the children. In the 13th CPPCC conference, the central government also emphasized that the preschool education will be a key process for our children. And our children will become a very important force for building our country in the future. So when we look at the spirit of Anji Play, and when we let children to grow in a healthy and a natural manner, I believe that this will also serve our country. Today's international conference will help us to understand better of Anji Play, and we can have in-depth communications with each other so that in the future we can have a better cooperation. I hope that through this event, Anji Play can be spread to all the different areas so that we can make our due contribution to the development of early childhood education. I would like to wish the event a complete success.
Thank you, Madam Jiang Jing, for your wonderful speech. Now, let's give the floor to Liu Jianfeng, Deputy Director of Ministry of Education and Science and Technology, and also Liaison Officer stationed at Hong Kong SAR. Distinguished leaders, experts, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Very delighted to come with SAR principals and professionals, experts to the county of Anji to attend this conference. On behalf of the Liaison Office of Education of Education Ministry in Hong Kong, and also Hong Kong Preschool Society and delegates from Hong Kong, we would like to extend our sincere thanks to all the organizers here. Anji Play is the result of many years of exploration and hard work. Anji Play is a brand new practice in education. Anji Play has been awarded the first prize of education achievements nationwide. This is the first time for me to come to the county of Anji, and yesterday I was very pleased to observe Anji Play in person. Children can enhance their expression, teamwork spirit, cooperation, and problem solving. Children can learn a lot of knowledge. Children learn from play. In play, they enhance their body coordination, emotional control, and they gained all-rounded development. Children became more attentive, active, proactive, and confident. With all these years of exploration, Anji Play has brought in an insightful change for China's preschool education, and many colleagues and peers in preschool education arena often came to Anji to study. I have some initial thinkings. When we come here to discuss the value and significance of Anji Play, there are 4 values. First, Anji Play is a revolution in children's preschool education. I believe all of you have a lot of thoughts in this area. Second, I believe the achievements and success of Anji Play is resulting from the educational reform in Anji. This reform took place in preschool children. It is a deep-rooted reform in educational institution. This reform has taken over the entire public education sector. It is an institutional reform at the overarching level, a reform strongly supported by funds and money. Thirdly, I believe Anji Play opened up a new research in preschool education. Teachers often summarize their experiences. University scholars and experts also came here to observe from their sharp, scholarly perspective. When educational practitioners work with educational theorists, they work together to enhance Anji Play so the play can be spread far and wide. Number 4, Anji Play has now ventured abroad. Anji Play is a new model in which China and other countries can cooperate in education, both in practice and in theory. In this process, we learn from each other. Anji Play is a new achievement in China's educational opening up and liberalization. Hong Kong has more than 100 kindergartens. The Hong Kong Education Ministry and practitioners are also thinking about further reform in our kindergartens. Anji Plays provide a new perspective for practitioners in Hong Kong. For all these years, Hong Kong has sent many delegations to visit here. And Hong Kong also opened up experimental kindergartens, pilot play areas. There have been more than 1,000 Hong Kong practitioners came to Anji. Some Hong Kong parents brought their children to Anji, so they play with Anji children. Anji plays an important bridge of exchange and communication between Hong Kong and Anji. I hope educators in Anji and Hong Kong will learn together, develop together, so as to provide more effective methodologies for children's learning and education. I look for more success from Anji Play, and I wish all of you a happy stay in Anji. Thank you.